Hi everyone, welcome to V8 Online's live and exclusive coverage of Race of Champions 3 with special thanks to Extreme Sim Gear, Direct Clutch Services and Derek Spears Designs. This is day two of a marvellous event that's sort of turned into some wonderful tradition that a mix of unknown tracks and drivers. And to help me call all the shots of tonight's action is Corey Slade. Corey, how you going, mate?
Yeah, going good there, mate. Sam, rather, sorry. Good to be back, and last night we saw some really good action. I'm really looking forward to going again now. 2 more races again tonight before we decide our Race of Champions 3 champion.
Yeah, sensational race format tonight for race 3. We've got the Lotus 79 around Interlagos. That's 18 laps, and that's pretty much a sprint race. There's no pit stop required for that one. And then race 4 sees a switch to the McLaren, the brand new McLaren around Sebring Club. So that should be one heck of a race. Also joining us in the commentary box at the moment, we've got Josh Muggleton, Justin Ruggier, and Renz Brookman. How you going, fellas?
Good evening, guys.
Hey, good evening.
So mixed results for you guys, but Muggo will be walking away with a smile on his face. Mate, good results for you last night?
Yeah, not too bad. Happy to finish up the front again and made the best of that bad situation in the Legends race. So all good, and looking forward to tonight. Should be a cracker.
What are your thoughts, Muggo, on the lineup? The Lotus around Interlagos and the McLaren around Sebring? Yeah,
really good. These two cars are really nice to drive. They're two of the better cars in iRacing. And it's good to be on Interlagos as well. So, yeah, it should be good. Nice close racing, I think.
Also joining us, Justin Ruggier. Justin, mate, how did your race go last night?
Yeah, mixed bag, really. I think I did pretty good in the Impala B. I think that was the best position I could finish. With the Legends, I was hoping to be up front more. I got a rocket start, and unfortunately with the pit confusion, I fell back to, I think, 29th and got my way back up to 6th. So, that was the best position I think I could have finished after all that mayhem. So.
And looking at tonight's schedule, mate, is there anything there that sort of floats your boat that reckon it'll really work in your favour?
The Lotus, I've only just downloaded it, so that's going to be a handful trying to learn the car very quick compared to some of these other guys. So you just have to press on with it. And the McLaren, I'm quite comfortable with that car. The only thing is the track, the combination. So just have to be consistent. And I think we're only 6 points behind the leaders, so we just have to try and be smart. And obviously, we need to finish in front of the Madisons and the Muggletons of the world. So you just have to press on and try and get these guys.
And Renz, tell us a bit about your night last night, mate. How did you go?
Not too bad. I did a lot of slowdowns in the first race, which put me out of the fight with the top guys. The second race, due to the pit confusion, was all over the place, really. Back to the front. But it was a lot of fun, definitely.
Now, I see there's been a bit of a practice serve for you guys, the Lotus 79 at Interlagos. How have you guys found it so far? I know it's early, you've only had sort of an hour or so. Your thoughts so far?
I think it's one of the better combos out there. I really enjoyed it when I jumped in the previous practice session. Piloted it for a few laps, so should be really good.
Yeah, the setups. Oh, sorry, Rugs, you go, mate.
Sorry. I think this car is just awesome. The thing just moves around and keeps you on your toes, so I'm really looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be pretty close up the front.
Yeah, this setup that Chris has loaded onto this is really good. It's going to make some good tight racing.
Also joining us in the commentary box is one Mr. Jay Kennedy, who's slipped out of the commentary box and jumped into a hot, sweaty race suit. And how are you finding the car so far, mate?
Yeah, car that I really love to drive, so having a good bit of fun. Track I'm not overly comfortable with, but it's not too hard to pick it up, so hopefully put in a better performance than I did last night for you boys.
You had your fair share of ups and downs last night, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I can actually say I've led a broadcast race now for a whole 4 seconds, but that'll do. I'm one up on you now, Sandman.
Now, the Lotus 79 Interlagos and the McLaren Sebring, what sort of fits for your driving style out of those two combinations?
myself and James Scanlon, we've done a few races in the Lotus 49 late night Friday night races, so I'm more comfortable in it than a lot of other guys in saying that I'm still not very quick. The McLaren done a lot of races in it, raced yesterday in it in the Daytona 2.4 hour, so quite comfortable in the McLaren, so hopefully I'll give it a little bit of a show, but not as quick as these other boys we've got here with us now.
Now, speaking of the pace of the boys we've got, especially in the commentary box, we've got our two past champions, Josh Muggleton taking out last season's race of champions, and Justin Ruggier taking out the inaugural one. So I guess it's out of you guys to see who can go back to back. Muggo, your thoughts on possibly doing that tonight? Oh,
it's going to be hard when you got the likes of Ruggier and Hughes is here and Madison's turned up. It's going to be on. You're going to have to stay out of trouble, make the best of the bad situations, and try and finish up the front again.
Justin, you've had good pace all season, regardless of what we're steering, and you've had good runs in Race of Champions. How do you feel your night's going to go tonight?
I think their plan's just going to be to try and qualify really well and stay with the top guys and hopefully be there around the last 6 laps and then dictate where everyone else is positioned. So that way, you know, if we have to push or don't have to push on the last one, we can take as many points as possible.
It's interesting talking about qualifying. We've seen, especially with last night, the mix-up of reverse grid races. You know, it certainly hasn't been ruled out for races 3 and 4, so always a bit of unknown, but I guess that's part and parcel of Race of Champions, and it's pretty much what draws the attention, the fact that no one knows the car and track combo coming into these events, and you know, there's always a bit of a curveball thrown in every now and then, which makes it interesting.
Yeah, I wish we could do this every week. The concept's just, it's so much fun. It's just unreal, really.
It's actually interesting you bring that up. We had some chat off air. We thought it'd be interesting to have a V8 Supercar series run like that one time, you know, where no one really knows what track we're going to go to, and we just sort of get known 1 hour before the race, and it'll be interesting to see how those races unfold.
I'll be a part of that for sure.
We actually did one of those a couple of seasons ago with ATCC, so really good concept that hopefully someone will bring back one day as well.
Now, Corey, mate, we've got definitely got a good lineup tonight. Lotus 79 around Interlagos. There's plenty of really good drivers out there. I guess it's early stages before qualifying, mate, but who's your money on?
You look at last night's performances, and you got to say the likes of Ruggier, Madison, you know, Muggleton, all the usual guys are going to be up there. The one thing I'm really looking forward to in this first race is it's a track that came out a couple of days ago, so these guys have probably had very minimal testing compared to some of the other tracks we've been to. Like yesterday, we went to Zolder, so it's a bit of a up in the air at the moment. But I think the fast guys are still going to be up there, and it looks like Ben Cornett's also joined us tonight, so another one that I think will be up the front.
Yeah, well, it's funny you say that, just having a look at the timesheets at the moment, although it is only warm-up. Ben Cornett is second fastest with a 1:26.729, so not mucking about, old Ben.
Yeah, he's definitely a quality driver, and it's good to see the likes of him come back. I think he made an appearance in a race or two last race of champions, so good to have him back again for tonight's 2 races.
All right, now we'll have a chat to the boys in the commentary box. Is there anyone who feels like giving us a bit of a lap around Interlagos? No?
I guess that's a no.
You know, when it turns into a no, I think it turns to Mr. Kennedy.
I was about to say it about Mr. J out there.
Oh, it won't be a hot lap. It'll be a very, very lukewarm lap.
Well, you can sort of get some idea. Like we said, it's a brand new circuit to a lot of people. So you can sort of give us a bit of a run around here and give us some idea of the lefts and the rights and the braking markers.
I don't know what to say. I'm not very good at this talking and driving thing, as you saw last night.
I'm on a lap if he's, or we'll start a lap soon.
Sorry, Muggo.
You're alright, you're doing a hot lap.
Very, very lukewarm lap. Look at that, I spun out.
Oh, awesome. Hope we got that on camera.
I like hearing that, just missed a bit.
Alright, we'll jump on board with Justin Ruggier, and Justin, you can give us a bit of a lap around here and tell us what it's all about.
Alright, we're on the front straight now, about to start one, so hang on to your seats, Clarky. Or Sam there. Just coming up to, I don't even know who's in front of me, but I might make a move down here into turn one. Bit hairy there. Back down to first. Oh, it's going to be again. We're racing here. I'm trying to do a hot lap.
Got Guy Leach coming up the outside there.
You're kidding me. Alright.
3 wide, mate.
That's what the spotter's telling me. Alright, we'll try to start the hot lap again. I'll go down to 4th here, just let the car really be patient here and try and get a good run out of this corner here. I'll go back down to 1st, let the car steer in and get on the gas, let the car flow once again. It's important you get on the throttle as quick as possible to get a good run out. Down 2 again. I'll get a bit of push here, so I just get off the throttle just a little bit. It's an awesome track though for this car. Sorry about the hot lap, guys. Ended up being a race.
That's all right, mate. That's what Race of Champions is all about. We love a bit of unpredictability in these broadcasts. That was brilliant.
3 wide, 3 wide.
It's pretty exciting for our V8 series as well, mate, because we make a trip for this in our calendar for this season, which will be brilliant.
I raised the sweat then, Sam. It's supposed to be relaxing, mate.
We appreciate that, mate. We should let you guys go because we're at the 14-minute mark of this 20-minute practice session, and we'll let you guys compose yourselves and get ready for qualifying. So thanks for stopping by, Muggo, Renz Brookman and Justin Ruggier.
No worries, fellas. Enjoy the racing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, guys.
See you guys.
Cheers, fellas.
Yeah.
And I suppose we should let Mr. Kennedy go too, after all his dramas he had last night.
Yeah, I think I need all the practice I can get, but I'll no doubt talk to you during qualifying and the race.
We look forward to it, mate. Turn laps and hit your breaker markers. Have a good one, mate.
Thanks, guys.
It's a brilliant little insight when you talk to the drivers, and it's not as easy as it looks sometimes when you're trying to concentrate, hitting all your brake markers and racing the guys around you, but the boys did a pretty good job.
Yeah, sitting there on board with Justin was interesting at the start of his last lap, so...
We love a bit of the 3 wide action. I think that's what we expected last night with the Legends, but you know, seeing it with these Lotuses, it's not something I was expecting at Interlagos.
Yeah, definitely not. And I think we'll see it again come qualifying as we get ready for the barge out of pit lane like we saw yesterday. That can get pretty intense. But so I'll tell you what, I've been watching these guys go around this track. I haven't had a chance to do any laps yet, but it looks like a fantastic bit of road to drive around. It's got a bit of everything. Got fast corners, slow corners, bit of elevation change, and it looks like these guys are having a blast out there, sliding these things on the entry and on the exits to these corners.
Yeah, it definitely looks like they've got their work cut out for them. I was fortunate enough I quickly skipped out of the commentary box and turned a couple of laps with the boys. My time was nowhere near as what Ben's has got on the board at the moment. He's put down a 26.2 to top the timesheets. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of a driver's setup where you just sort of have to look after the rear, and these things do want to step out on you a little bit. But awesome fun to drive. I think it's going to produce some great racing.
And it's an interesting thing you note there with Ben Corner up the top. There's going to be a few guys out here now that I think are a little bit thankful that he wasn't there last night, because he could have thrown a real spanner in the works for the overall championship.
Yeah, like we said, Ben's topped the timesheets at the moment, 26.252. Behind him, Madison Down, 26.430, and then George Maris, P3, 26.6. So it's good to see, a number of names up the top that we're not normally used to. It's brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. Then you've also got Andrew Carl. I think that's how it's pronounced. Sorry if it's wrong there, mate. But up there in P4, another guy that I don't recall seeing much of yesterday.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the pluses with Race of Champions. You never know what driving style you're going to need as far as what car and what racetrack. And, it's obvious that sometimes we go to a racetrack or a certain car that suits, certain drivers over others. So it's a great format and something that I reckon Chris and everyone should be very proud of, because this event seems to grow stronger and stronger each 13 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. When Chris came up with the idea, with the original Race of Champions, it was something that everyone, got excited about. But I don't think anyone saw it blowing up as much as it did. I mean, there's an entry list. As long as you can sit here all day naming the names that have applied to be here. So it's definitely definitely a great event and a big well done to Chris, as we said yesterday. Another thing we should probably mention, the points from yesterday have actually changed from the original release that Chris put out last night. So I'm not sure if you got more on that, Sam, man.
I don't have it with me at the moment, but we might chase and see if we can get a copy of that before the race. So we're almost at 2 minutes to go in this warm-up session before the 15-minute qualifying session. We're still Ben Cornett, still topping the timesheets, but I think it's a really good chance for these guys just to learn the racetrack and not sort of worry too much about the fastest lap on the board. I think if these guys really get a good feel for this racetrack and the way the car behaves, they'll obviously improve their times with a fresh set of boots on come qualifying.
Yeah, in practice, there was a fair few guys saying that the draft is rather strong in these cars and should keep them close in the race. So, I mean, I really thought that with the Legends yesterday, we're going to see draft come into effect a lot more than we did. So, hopefully we see it here because it's definitely going to make for some interesting racing if they can get a nice draft off the front straight into that fast downhill left-hander for turn one. So it's going to be a real scary but genuine overtaking opportunity, I think.
Now let's chase Mr. Kennedy. Where is he? He's finds himself 23rd on the timesheets at the moment. 28.926. It's something. It's not as easy as it looks to just get thrown into the deep end. These guys are all running the exact same setup. It's a fixed setup, and like we said, no one knows the car and track combo until 1 hour before the race. So not doing too bad, old Mr. Kennedy.
Yeah, he's definitely doing a good job, and as he said in his little interview before, it's a car that he's actually raced along with the McLaren, so he'll be hoping for a stronger night tonight, and of course we'll be out there cheering him on. Like he's about to go for a bit of a spin.
Oh, held on to it though. Oh, nearly cleaned up someone else though behind him. Who was that? That's Ben Rothberg. So we're almost done for the warm-up session. Last 20 seconds to go. And Ben Cornett over now. George Maris has gone P2 over Madison Down, Justin Ruggier and Andrew Qual for the top 5.
Who's your pick for pole out there, Sam M?
Oh, well, I don't know. Look, Ben's been pretty impressive. I've seen his times. He's 2/10 faster than anyone else at the moment. But always like a bit of, I was going to say it's not really a dark horse, but Justin Ruggier is always there or thereabouts, and he's known to pull out one of those one-lap wonders. So I'm going to go, it's 50-50 between Ben and Justin Ruggier. What about you?
Oh, I'm going to have to go with Ben Cornett or George Maris, the guys that top the warm-up, and as we head into qualifying now, it's a little bit more calm trying to exit the pit lane, it seems, today.
Yeah, they probably learnt their lesson from last night. A lot of guys battled to get out of pit lane, and there was actually a bit of contact there on pit exit last night, which was quite interesting. But boys are well behaved at the moment, and it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top in this 15-minute qualifying session.
One thing to keep an eye out for, I think, is going to be watching for teammates to work together, because if the draft is going to be as big as they said in practice, then I think you're going to need to do it if you want to have a genuine crack at the pole. Looking now, a few guys have gone out there together, including Stuart Wood, Chris Tarrant. Interesting to note in the warm-up, Van Gisbergen down in 13th. He was one of the guys that was really challenging yesterday, and especially in the first race in the Impala. So maybe a little bit further down than he would have liked, but also maybe hiding a bit of that pace.
Yeah, I noticed he was a bit of a late comer to this session as well. So like you said, he's always one to find a bit of pace as the night goes on. So definitely not to rule him out. But also Scott McLaughlin back there in 15th place as well. So two boys that we're normally used to seeing up at the pointy end of the field. It's speaking of Shane, I think we'll take this opportunity to go on board with Shane Van Gisbergen for a lap around Interlagos. So there you go, lap around Interlagos as he crosses the start-finish line. Shane Van Gisbergen puts down a time of 1:28.955, and that'll give him P3 at the moment. Now it's back to P5.
Yeah, that's still a little bit off what he did in the warm-up, so more time in it, you'd have to believe. I'll tell you what, looking on board there, I've got to say, iRacing have done a fantastic job with this track. It just looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah, they really seem to outdo themselves every time they have a new release with a car or a track, and I guess one of the exciting things for us to come is Bathurst Mount Panorama. So, you know, they always find that, you know, these little improvements to make these tracks look better and better, and I think by the time they get Bathurst done, we're going to be absolutely blown away.
Yeah, and a lot of people are looking forward to that track, not just the Aussies, but also the international fellas. And, you know, you'd have to think really, and we're all really hoping that Chris puts that in the next race of champions if it's released, because that is just going to be amazing for any Australian or international motorsport fan for that matter to have a laser scan version of Mount Panorama.
Now, I believe there was a bit of word that they were keen to use the 49. There was some speculation whether it was going to be released in this build or not. Unfortunately, it didn't quite make the cut, and I know there's some disappointment out there with some of the members, but I think iRacing's done the right thing. They're holding on to that car. They want to release it when it's, you know, pretty much perfect. So it's disappointing, but it would have been good to see that included in Race of Champions.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of guys out there looking forward to it, but I think just, you know, with the history of that car, iRacing don't want to release it if there's something wrong with it, and they are making sure that is 110% perfect. You've got to say that this car provides some fantastic racing as well. It's very different to the V8 supercar that these guys are normally running week in, week out, so I still think we're going to have some pretty awesome racing.
So we're checking out Josh Muggleton on screen. I think fastest so far in this session, George Maris, I believe, 1:26.505 is P1. I do love how these cars move around a little bit too. You can see these guys feeding on the throttle and just the rear moving around at a fraction. Would have been fantastic to be watching these cars in the day racing around in the Grand Prix.
Oh, it would have been fantastic to see these things, you know, scream around some of the famous tracks like Spa and such. But oh, Muggleton very sideways there, coming on through the last couple of corners.
Now we're hearing through our comms that Ben Cornett's gone fastest, top of the timesheets. And Muggleton will come across the line. Let's see what his time is. Moves to P5, 1:26.752. And Justin Ruggier on screen. P2 at the moment, 1:26.424. So it's incredibly close up front. It's going to make for some brilliant racing, and I guess everyone's going to hold their breath a little bit going into turn one. I think all these cars, what we got, 38 cars was in practice, so that's going to be pretty interesting coming into turn one.
Yeah, we've got 38 cars and they're all still in here, so scream into that downhill left-hander and then the right-hander. I think there's going to be some interesting moments. Thankfully, there's a bit of runoff out there, but
Now on screen, Richard Hampstead, and behind him looks like George Maris. Richard is currently P4, George Maris in P3 at the moment, but what are we? We're nearly 7 minutes gone in this 15-minute qualifying session. Looks like the Hammer's about to start a hot lap. Geez, really, this thing moving around, it's awesome to watch. I don't know how much fun it'll be from the driver's seat to get that much movement under brakes and under throttle, but it looks brilliant.
Yeah, I got to say, these cars look like an absolute handful. And again, just like last night, it's sitting here watching is really making me wish I was out there driving, because it looks like an absolute blast. And I think, just like last night, we're going to have to try and maybe get into some action and get these setups and have a go a little bit later.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like I said, I managed to do a couple of laps before, but it wasn't enough. I just started to get the bug for it, and then realised I had to sneak back into the commentary box and do some real work. So, but yeah, the guys have really hit the nail on the head with these cars around this racetrack. The setup's brilliant, and yeah, it's really going to produce some great racing, and get to see all that in about 7 or 8 minutes' time.
Interesting to see that a lot of clear space out there. You know, got a couple of car links for everybody, and I'm looking through, I can't see anybody at the moment that is working together to get the draft.
So Richard Hampstead, another hot lap down, currently in P5 at the moment. Let's see what this does for him. 1:26.886. Looks like he'll still hold on to P5.
Yeah, slightly slower than his previous best lap.
Now, someone who had an interesting night last night, the guy on screen, Madison Down, obviously a regular in the V8 Supercar Series. He's got 1 or 2 championships under his belt, and I think he always gets excited come Race of Champions time, and probably a little bit further down than what he'd like at the moment. I think he sits in P7, so... But he's on a hot lap as he hangs the tail out there and comes up towards the start-finish line. We'll see what this has got for him installed. So hopefully he'll move up the grid a little bit more. Looks like he might be having a bit of internet issues too there.
Yeah, it seems to be a regular thing for poor old Madison, and I think you're being a little bit too nice when you were saying 1 or 2 champions. I think it's about 5. So I know the other drivers don't like to hear it, but
he's starting to get the old Jimmy Johnson nickname of Mr. 5-time. So, yes, yeah, good asset to have in our V8 Supercar Series, and it's good to see him mix it up a little bit in different cars than he's used to. All right, I think it's time to check on Mr. Kennedy. Car 31 currently sits in position 31. We had this tail last night, didn't we?
I believe so. I remember hearing 31 in 31st, but a very interesting livery that the team have done for Jay as well. A nice big yellow sticker on the front of that car.
yeah, he's got the old L plates on, which is it's good to see him just having a bit of fun with the night's racing. But yeah, P31 for car 31. I think he'd be fighting for maybe car 1 or car 2 next year. But obviously he doesn't get car 1 because that'll go to the overall champion of Racing Champions 3 for next season.
He did improve his lap time that time by about 2 tenths, but unfortunately I've lost my live timing, so I can't see if he's managed to improve.
Now a new leader at the top of the timesheets was Shane Van Gisbergen, 1:26.326, I believe.
Yeah, we spoke about that in the warm-up, that he was a little bit further down than we thought, maybe masking that pace or just, couldn't get the line right, but he's done a good job now, and interestingly, he's done 6 laps in a row as well, so he hasn't gone out there, done a lap, come back to pits, he's just continued to truck on and managed to get that time on his 6th lap, so a lot of other guys I'm seeing are doing 1 or 2, then going back to the pits.
So we're at the point now where we've got nearly 3.5 minutes to go now. So the guys need to either commit to the lap that they're on or quickly head back to the pits and bolt on a set of tyres. I'm actually surprised that Shane's rolled around there on 6 laps straight, because there is a heck of an advantage to pick up on fresh tyres.
Yeah, I mean, I have unfortunately not had a chance to start the Race of Champions yet, Stephen, but you'd know firsthand with the fuel, is it actually adjustable for qualifying, or is it every time you go back to pits you're stuck on whatever the setup's set to?
I'm just trying to think. Out of last year, it may be just set for what the race was. Can't exactly say for sure what they've got for this season, but yeah, it's an interesting point actually. So, but in saying that, George Maris has now gone fastest, 26.272. So that may be the fresh tyre gain there that we were talking about.
Yeah, it's interesting to see whether the fuel's a big factor in this car, or if the fresh tyres really is gonna win. But it's a nice lap there by George. So we look at Joshua Muggleton now coming around the end of his lap.
Yeah, he was Race of Champions 2 overall champion last season, and he's looking to go back to back. But obviously his win last night didn't hurt. He did really well at Homestead Miami, and he'd be looking to do much the same tonight. He's currently sitting in P7 at the moment, so I think he'd like to climb up the order a little bit better, but not so much that time round.
Yeah, just a 10th off, and interesting to see now he's on his 4th flying lap. So I wonder if a couple of these drivers are now trying to see if lowering the fuel is actually going to be of an advantage to them.
We've got a new leader in qualifying. It's Cornett. Ben Cornett has gone to P1. He's played down at 26.211. So time's getting faster and faster as this session goes on, but the guys are running out of time. We're approaching about 1.5 minutes left in this session to go. On screen, Anton De Pasquale finds himself P4 at the moment. His last lap round was his fastest of the session, so let's see what he does if he can go. Well, he's starting his hot lap now, so he's bolted on those fresh set of tyres for this session.
Oh, he was in there deep as well into turn 1. He might have just lost the rear a little bit there, but
yeah, at the point now, it's the guys have got what they got now. We're under a minute to go in this session, so there's not enough time to dart back to the pits and make it around for a hot lap. So the guys that are out there now are on what they've got now, so it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out in the next 2 minutes or so. Now we've got a new leader up front. It's Madison down, grabs the provisional pole, 125.940. So impressive lap by Madison.
yeah, that's moved up a fair way as well. He was languishing down at about P8 before, so and he's going to have one more crack at this as well. So good effort there towards the end, and really put the pressure on the likes of Ruggier and Muggleton and Ben Cornett and such.
Speaking of Ruggier, he's on screen, crosses the line now. 26.288 was that last lap round. That's his fastest of the session.
He's given up.
Yep, so that's it for the session. So it's the guys that are out there that have managed to cross over the line will be able to finish their lap, but there's only a select few that are out there that will take advantage of this last dying seconds.
Out there watching Shane Van Gisbergen at the moment. He's tucked up nicely behind Scott McLaughlin, and he's still going. He's on his 10th lap, so you know, if the fuel's burnt off and the car's a lot faster, getting a nice draft off Scott might help him here and just might put him to the top.
Oh, that car's moving around a little bit though. Looks like those tyres are probably a little bit worse for wear, but he's still having a red hot go, and I think if he can benefit from this toe down the front straight, that really could work in his favour.
Yeah, he's going to make sure he doesn't get too close to Scott and actually start holding him up. We've got one more corner to go before it shouldn't be an issue.
So Van Gisbergen currently sitting in P5. Let's see what this toe will do. He'll get a toe from Scott McLaughlin. And you can see the car just slowly starting to creep up in the back of McLaughlin.
Yeah, he's definitely, there's a lot of drafter out here. Look at that, he's closing it right up.
Yeah, that's a massive gain. So he
Here we
taps
go.
right there, crosses the line.
26.214.
That's his fastest of the session, puts him in P3. So it goes to show the toe is a bit of an advantage around here. He got his fastest lap on lap 10.
And he's about the only driver that I can see that's actually managed to do 10 laps in a row. Everyone else has really seemed to do 1 or 2 and then pulled off.
Now, I haven't got qualifying results in front of me. How about you, Corey?
Unfortunately, no, I lost my live timing, hoping to get it back for the next race, so I can't see the overall. I think Madison Down did get the pole though at the end of all that.
Oh, well, while we've got a bit of a break in proceedings, we'll talk to Mr. Jay Kennedy. Jay, can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, got you, boys.
Interesting session for you, mate. What's that? Position
P24
25 overall?
24, I think I am. Yes, I'm very, very happy with that. My aim for the whole Race of Champions was top 25. So, yeah, dropped back to 25th right at the end. So, very, very happy with that. On my last run, though, I actually was up by 5/10. So, yeah, I'm a little bit upset about that. But it would have only gave me 3 spots. So, I'm not overly worried.
How did you feel as the race went on? We were speaking throughout qualifying that that Shane did 10 laps straight, and his fastest lap was on his last lap, obviously.
The tyres seem to come to you towards the end of the run. So, the longer you go, the more, or the faster the car starts to feel. So, expect the guys to bunch up further and further during the race, and that draft is a massive, massive advantage.
Now it is Madison Down, the only driver in the 25s, 125.940 over Ben Cornett in second, Shane Van Gisbergen, I'll spit that out eventually, George Maris P4, Justin Ruggier P5, Anton De Pasquale in P6, Renz Brookman in 7th, Josh Muggleton in 8th, Guy Leach 9th, Richard Hampstead in 10th. Over the page, Ben Rothberg over Andrew Carl, Mitch Abril, Scott McLaughlin in 14th, Sean Kelly 15th, Matty Barron, James Sturvison, Christopher Osborne, Cal Watmore and Stuart Wood in P20. Then it's Samuel Collins, P21, Clayton Brooks, 22, Matthew Nethercote, 23, Simon Black in 24th, our own Mr. Jay Kennedy, P25, Reece Gardner, 26, Dave Higston in 27th, Chris Tarrant, 28, Damien Butler, 29th, John Latham in P30. The grid still keeps on going. Nathan Britton, P31, Des Halland in 32, Michael Karloff in 33. In position 34, it's Marty Atkins, John O'Barry in 35th, Rob Leet in 36, Corey Osborne in 37th, Scott Fontaine in 38th, and 39th is Richard Stanovic. So, wow, 39 cars barrel into turn 1. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. And now you know how I felt when I was naming all the guys that come into pit lane yesterday, Sam, man.
Interesting guys as well. We haven't been told if it's rolling start or standing start yet, so we'll get told that right at the end.
Interesting race coming up, race 3, the Lotus 79 around Interlagos, 18 laps. And I think it might be a good time for us to take a short break before we catch all the action. As we come back to Interlagos, you are watching V8's Online's live and exclusive coverage of Race of Champions 3. We'll be back in just a few minutes' time.